What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Three Balls and a Puck. I'm your host for today, Bradley Velasquez, and you can see today, can't wait for the NFL season to start, so I'm going to go over my NFC predictions. I want to emphasize my NFC predictions. Let me know your NFC predictions if you stumble across this video. It's kind of a makeshift set right now. I have a little Laker jersey down here. You can see Jeremy Roenick, Chicago Blackhawk jersey. And then this is actually a throwback. It's a black Sean Taylor jersey. It's actually my dad's. He's a huge Redskin fan. You can see he's got his Redskins all hail can up there, beer can. But yeah, anyways, today is just going to be NFC predictions. I'm going to start with the team I think is going to get last place and make my way up for each division. And then I don't think I'm going to do like an actual win total because that could change so rapidly with training camps and injuries and stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm a huge Steeler fan, and we've already had like an injury bug go through training camp. So yeah, let's just get started. First off, if you're a fan of this team, I'm sorry, but no surprise, last place for me is going to be, and excuse my writing, I'm an absolute terrible person at like calligraphy. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This team, wow, I don't really know what to say. I just don't know what they did to improve. So as of right now, I have them in last. After this is tough because this particular division, I think, could actually have 3 teams make the playoffs, depending on what happens here in the North, but I'll touch on that in a little bit. So third place, I'm actually going to go with Carolina. Even though at times I feel like this division, we know it's a last to first division. Carolina, I just don't really buy into Cam Newton. I feel like he just kind of makes a lot of bonehead plays. So second up, I think is going to be New Orleans with Drew Brees. And wow, that writing is absolutely terrible. With obviously Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara coming on the scene last year. I think that they're not going to surprise people with their defense as much. I think that's really why they kind of went on that huge tear in the second half of the season after opening up so poor. And then lastly, the team I think that's going to win it, I'm just going to go with Atlanta. I just think you don't need to fix what's not broken in Atlanta. They got the running backs, they got Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. We'll see what happens with his contract, obviously. Now on to the North. This is the toughest one for me to predict because with Minnesota and their whole changing of the quarterbacks, I still think their defense is good enough to win it. So we'll start from the bottom again, and I just think Detroit. Wow, I need to really work on my writing, huh? Detroit, yeah, I mean, they got Stafford, but, you know, what else do they have? I guess their defense is okay, but I don't buy into it. Second to last, which I think this team could surprise people, but I still think they're going to finish in third, is the Chicago Bears. I think Jordan Howard, the running back, is one of the most underrated running backs in the league. And I know he wasn't too happy with his Madden rating in the upcoming Madden game that's coming out. I feel like he's very underrated, and I think you saw them last year stun some teams. They stunned Pittsburgh. Obviously, I'm a Steelers fan. I was really mad about that. But they're able to dictate the flow by running the ball. They're going to be able to really kind of catch some teams by surprise. They play above average defense. So I think they're going to finish in third. I think maybe a year from now, maybe they're a team that can make it in. And then Green Bay. I mean, this team, we all know it's basically Aaron Rodgers. When Aaron Rodgers plays well, Green Bay plays well. They made some additions here and there, but I just don't think that their defense is as good as it needs to be. And, you know, Aaron Rodgers in the NFL, you're one hit away, and when a team relies that much on one guy, like we see in the AFC with Tom Brady, you're really one hit away from your team just being terrible. And then that leaves Minnesota. I just think their defense is just too good. Minnesota, is that 2 T's? I think I might have spelled that wrong. Minnesota, yeah, the Vikings. I just think their defense is too good to not win the division. They're a little more consistent in regards to everything they do. Balanced offense, not flashy offense, but, you know, Stephon Diggs has really come out. Adam Thielen has really come out. So I think if you can just get the ball in their hands, you got some playmakers. Now on to the West. This one, I don't think it's any surprise who we think is going to win it. But we'll just go to the bottom, and I think this may shock some people, may upset some people. Even though their quarterback is this good, I think Seattle, last place. I just think with all the people retiring and all the dumpster fires you have, and Pete Carroll is even going to make it through the season, I think Seattle finishes in last. This could be an awakening season for Seattle Seahawks fans. You know, a little fall back down to grace after some years of excellence. Second to last, I'm going to go with Arizona. Interested to see what happens with quarterback. Obviously, you know, they bring in Bradford, and you know, now they have the rookie, I can't think of his name, Josh Rosen. I think Josh Rosen's going to be a sleeper. I think Chicago and Arizona may be teams that win their division the year following, depending on some transactions, because I just feel like they're a year away. Here, we're going to go with the San Francisco 49ers, which is going to be San Francisco. Probably spelled that wrong too. I think I did. San Francisco. Yeah, the 49ers, obviously Jimmy Garoppolo has never lost as a starter. We'll go from there. It's not broken. You don't need to fix it. He seems like he's a good quarterback. Obviously they added the wide receiver from Washington. Can't think of his name. Used to play with the Indianapolis Colts. What's his name?
I know. Diggs.
No. He used to play. Now I'm stumped here. Anybody's watching this, God, this guy's an idiot. What is his name? Move on. Yeah, it'll come to me, and I'm just gonna say it out of nowhere. And then lastly, this should be no surprise. Los Angeles. Still feels weird writing that. I think I spelled that wrong too. Los Angeles. The Rams. I mean, what have they not done? They've done a lot of things. Some breaking Dodger news. They've done a lot of things. Obviously, they've added Marcus Peters, signed in Ndamukong Suh, and things like that. So, I don't think any surprise. This team may have the best record in the entire conference. We'll see. They were good last year. Sean McVay really came in. Jared Goff looks good. Obviously, Todd Gurley signed that huge extension, so he's going to be a happy camper. Hopefully, he doesn't get too complacent. And then lastly, easily the toughest division to predict, because only a few people really saw Philadelphia going all the way they did. Carson Wentz coming back from the injury, we'll see. So, yeah, I mean, last year a lot of people had the Giants predicted to maybe go to the Super Bowl, and then we saw a few injuries, what happened there, and Odell Beckham getting hurt, and then the whole Geno Smith over Eli Manning. So I still am going to have the New York Giants at the bottom, even with the addition of Saquon Barkley. I don't know why I wrote it like that. I'm writing cities. New York. We'll just go on from there. Not a big fan of New York. After that, you know, this is definitely where I mentioned earlier, you're going to get some bias. I cannot stand the Dallas Cowboys. Sorry if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. So this is more of me rooting for them to finish here. I'm going to have them finishing third, which a lot of people are like, no way you're going to have the Redskins finishing higher than the Cowboys. I think Alex Smith is going to shock some people, and I do not buy
Alex Smith.
And yeah, he's a Redskins fan. That's why everyone else on this channel says, oh, you only put them because your dad. But anyways, and that's my dad behind the camera, yes. I just don't buy into Dak Prescott, and I think without that offensive line, he's a very average quarterback. When he's had to win games, he's a very, very just average quarterback. So, obviously he'll have Zeke Elliott. A lot of people are going to be, he's going to have Zeke Elliott, but once again, you're one injury away, and I know you can't predict injuries, but I just don't buy him, and I think the more film that gets on him, I think more teams are going to try to make Dak Prescott win the game. And unless he makes that Ben Roethlisberger year 3 jump or that Russell Wilson year 3 jump, I just don't buy him. So they could be finishing last. So if you're a Dallas fan, I'm sorry. If you're a New York fan, even sorrier. And then here, I'm not getting too crazy. We'll go Washington here. Now I think this team, I don't understand really the signing of the wide receiver. Once again, I can't even think of his name now. From Seattle, they brought over. Pretty big contract. Didn't really understand it. But I think Alex Smith and him playing with Jay Gruden is going to mesh. It's just a hunch I have. Jay Gruden obviously came from Cincinnati, and he did wonders with Andy Dalton. Obviously, we saw what he did with Kirk Cousins, and we saw the money he made. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I think Washington finishes second. And then to nobody's surprise, at least for me, I just think this team on the front end, the O-line and the D-line are just so good. And now there's no rush with Carson Wentz. You see Nick Foles can win you some games. So let's say Carson Wentz here, you want to ease him back into things, which I don't think will be an issue. But if it does become an issue, we saw them go on a playoff run and win the Super Bowl against New England. So Philadelphia, I believe it's definitely their division to lose. So a quick recap. I have the East being won by Philly, the West being won by the Los Angeles Rams, the North being in Kirk Cousins leading Minnesota, and in the South I have Matt Ryan leading Atlanta. Just go real quick. I guess I'll just estimate some win totals. I don't want to predict their actual record. So if I had to say New York, I'd say, let me change the color here so you can kind of distinguish. Let's go with red. New York, I think they'll be anywhere between 5 and 6 wins. I don't want people to think 5. They have a 5 and 6 record. Let's just go 5 or 6. Dallas, I believe 8 or 9, and this is going to be a tough division to win, which is why I have it this way. I think Washington will be anywhere between 9 or 10, and then I just think Philadelphia is going to win anywhere from. I think they're going to win 12 games. I guess I'll just come right out and say it. Seattle, this may be a dumpster fire, and if this starts early, and God forbid nothing happens to Russell Wilson, but if something were to happen to him, this can get ugly real quick. I think this could be a 3 to 4 win team. Arizona, I'll put them at 5 to 6. San Francisco, this could be a surprising team, but I think a lot of people have more film on Jimmy Garoppolo, so this could be, I'll say, a 9-win team. Got a pretty easy schedule, and we can go in more depth on that on different videos, individual team schedules and stuff like that. And the Rams, I think they'll be around 11. I'll circle them because they're the division winners. Detroit, I have them right around 4. Chicago, probably 6 to 7. Green Bay, this is a tough one because, once again, with Aaron Rodgers, they always seem like they can go on a tear. After being 4-4, they'll win, the remaining 8 games, and go 12-4. Or it can go the other way around. They'll be 8-4, and then they'll drop their final 4 and go 8-8. So I'll have them at 10, even though I don't really believe that, and I'll have Minnesota at 10, and they'll probably beat them out on a tiebreak. I just think their defense matches up good against Aaron Rodgers. Over here, I think this will be a runaway. I think this team wins 2 games. Tampa Bay, I mentioned before, I don't know what's going on over there. Carolina, I'll put them at 7. New Orleans, I'll have them at 9, and Atlanta, I have them at 10. So this one will be tight too, and obviously I'm trying to be kind of complacent here. I don't want to say one team's going to win. There's going to be one team that wins 13 games, maybe 14, like we saw in Philadelphia. So you'll have 2 teams that kind of run away with the division. We saw it in the AFC last year, Pittsburgh and New England with the same record. And then there's going to be some teams down there that, as the season goes on, they kind of just fall apart. But anyways, those are my NFC predictions. Just got some news on Brian Dozier going to the Dodgers, so keep a lookout for that video. Maybe it comes right after this, I'm not sure. But yeah, if you just stumble across this video, please feel free to subscribe. If you hit the like button, that'd be appreciated, and maybe hit the notification, that way you get notified. I'm going to try to upload as many videos as I can. No promises on anything. Obviously, life gets in the way sometimes. And if you want to hit the dislike, feel free. Let me know where I can improve. Like I said, I'm sweating in a storage unit right now with a makeshift studio. So yeah, we'll go from there. But anyways, thank you for watching 3 Balls and a Puck. See you next time.